Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Kierstin Bible, and this is the first video in what will be a series of videos about singing, about everything that has to do with singing, breathing, breath support, phrasing, musicality, all that good stuff. I am a classical opera singer and teacher, love to teach, I love to share the things that I've learned with other people, and so I thought, what the heck, I'm going to do a series of videos, and this is the first one. And this is going to be about the mechanics of breathing for singing, about the anatomy of breathing for singing. So it's just a little short video to get you started. If you like it, you can keep going into more and more videos to learn a little bit more. Okay, breathing. Breathing correctly is the foundation of singing. If you don't get the foundation built right, everything else is not going to work as well. You can have other things working really, really well, but without the foundation beneath you, the breathing and the breath support, which we'll talk about in another video, it's not going to work as well as it could. There's a lot of conflicting information about breathing. I know when I got out of school with my bachelor's degree, I kind of knew how to do it. I mean, you know, I could breathe and breathe correctly, and I just couldn't break it down. I couldn't break it down for my students. I couldn't really tell them exactly what was going on, and I realized I needed to learn some more. And then I got my master's and my doctorate 25 years later. Now I feel like I got it, so I'm going to share it with you. So we've all heard the word diaphragm, diaphragmatic breathing, breathe from your diaphragm, and what does that mean? What is a diaphragm? What does it look like? Okay, so actually instead of saying diaphragm, let's dive on in, we're going to start with the lungs. Lungs. Okay, first question I always ask, are the lungs muscles or not muscles? It's a good question. We know they're organs. Which one are they? Muscles or not muscles? If you answered not muscles, you are correct, and congratulations. A lot of people don't realize that the lungs aren't muscles. So the lungs are basically like big gooey balloons that inflate kind of like a balloon does. But here's where it gets different. A balloon inflates because you blow air into it. Your lungs inflate, which causes the air to rush in and fill the empty space. So that's a big difference. We're not forcing air into our lungs. We're setting things up so air will come into our lungs on its own. So how do we do that? The lungs aren't muscles. So where do they get the help to do that? This is where some other muscle groups come into play. So the first set of muscles we're going to talk about is the intercostal muscles. I like to call these the riblets because they're between your ribs. Pretty simple. We have two sets. One that makes the rib cage expand and one that makes the rib cage contract. Pretty simple. Well, the lungs are attached to those riblets, and when the rib cage expands, the lungs expand with them, and air rushes in to fill the empty space. So that's one set of muscles that we use for breathing, right? Okay. If I only breathe with my costal muscles, it's called costal breathing. And so you will see, let me kind of smush my sweater down here a little bit. When I take in a breath, my lower rib cage goes out. I don't want to do it up here, okay? That's just not attractive, and it's not useful at all. You really can't use that breath very well. So this is costal breathing only. Okay, if I turn sideways, you'll see that you don't see a whole lot of difference here because I'm only using my costal muscles, my intercostal, my riblets. All right, so that's one set of muscles. Okay, the other muscle, not a set of muscles, is that diaphragm we've been hearing so much about. All right, it's like, what is the diaphragm? What does it look like? The diaphragm is basically a very thin muscle that completely bisects you from front to back and side to side. So it literally divides your thorax, this part of you, get your head, this part of you from your abdomen, this part of you, okay? So thorax, abdomen, diaphragm is what comes between, right? What is it shaped like? It's kind of like a big upside down bowl, right? Except it's tilted a little bit. okay? And it's all just sort of shoved up. Imagine a bowl that's coming way up under here, and then it goes a little bit further down the back. So when I'm talking about diaphragmatic breathing and people are like, oh, this is your diaphragm. No, it's not. That bowl is tipped back quite a bit, okay? So there's your bowl. It's attached to the bottom of your lungs. So like that's a lot of surface area, covers a lot of surface area in the bottom of your lungs. And when it contracts downward. And as it contracts downward, your lungs go down with it and expand. Okay, so let's take a look at diaphragmatic breathing from the side. All right, so you're going to see a lot more there. Let's stop for a second and let's look at a film clip that drove me crazy the first time I saw it, so you can get some bad ideas into your head and then I'll kick them right out of your head.
Support with your diaphragm. Air goes in, diaphragm goes out. It's okay to look fat.
When I saw that movie, I was in a movie theater with my students and I just cringed. And I was just like, no, that's wrong, it's wrong. It's not your diaphragm sticking out. It's your abdominals and your abdominal viscera. Wait, what? What's that? Viscera. It's a great word. Basically means your guts. So we have that big upside down bowl, and it's not like it's empty, like there's a big black hole in the middle of you with nothing in it, right? Okay, so there's your bowl, and underneath it are your intestines and your stomach and your kidneys and all the other things that I don't care about. All I care about is that that bowl is not empty. So when you flatten the bowl out a little bit, that stuff has to go somewhere. When you flatten the bowl out a lot, that stuff really has to get out of the way. So basically, when I do this sideways breath and you see a lot there, what you're seeing is my guts getting out of the way of my lungs as they expand. So diaphragm pushes down and out and everything pops out. Now, I've got a lot of extra love handles on me, so I can actually demonstrate this really well, right? Silver lining, so that's a good thing. I've had students that are very, very thin, and you're just going to see a tiny little bit of movement. You're not going to see just as much as you'll see with me. But that doesn't mean it's not working, okay? Now, if I put everything together, I've got costal breathing and diaphragmatic breathing all going on at the same time. So it's a good big breath. My rib cage is going out on the side and my stomach is expanding. And that's where we get the word belly breathing from. Now, you might be asking, well, I don't want to take a big old breath and have my belly popping out. Well, the problem is that when we start to get into breath support, you are going to need these muscles down here to support your sound, okay? I can either use 4 layers of abdominal muscles to support my sound, or how many rib muscles go in? 1. Remember, there's a set of rib muscles that make it go out and a set that makes it go in. So you don't have a lot of power, you don't have a lot of control, okay? And if I only breathe up here, I'm actually not going to get as big a breath as if I also breathe down here. So we want to expand all the way around. You can also put your hands on your back, and when you breathe, can't really see it much here, but when you breathe, you'll feel your back expanding as well. So there's really good air to be had all the way around. Now, when you inhale, imagine that the air is actually going down here. It's not factually correct. If I feel like I'm filling up my lower torso, my abdomen with air, it really helps me get that good diaphragmatic combined with the lower intercostal muscles for breathing. And then I've got a really good breath and I can start to sing. Ah, amazing grace. So that was the anatomy of breathing in a nutshell. Let's talk back through it really quickly, right? Intercostals, pull the rib cage out. lungs expand outward. Diaphragm attached to the bottom of the lungs, flattens down as it contracts, pulls the lungs down, pushes your guts, your viscera, and your abdomen down and out, and so we see this business here. Now, one thing you need to remember with diaphragmatic breathing is that if your abs are super tight, you can't get a diaphragmatic breath. So I'm really holding my abs in. I take a breath. It all comes up here. Oh no, I can't use that breath, remember? So I have to let my abs go for a split second. And then as soon as I start singing, they're going to start coming back in, which is part of breath support. So remember when you're just looking over this video and you're like, okay, I've got intercostal muscles, I've got the diaphragm, I've got the abdominal muscles. If I put up a firm wall of abs, right, it's all going up there because my abs are tightened. I got to let my abs go. I just totally relax my abs. And now I'm going to start singing. And they'll start coming back in, okay? It doesn't mean we walk around with our abs hanging out all the time, which used to be a misconception of mine. I have a really bad back, so when I'm just kind of doing my everyday stuff, I keep especially my lower abdominals tight. It helps support my back, okay? But as soon as I start to sing, I gotta let it go, and then poof, it comes right back in. So it's just a split second. Just a split second. Relax your abs, let them come back in. And we're gonna talk about that more in the next video, how you're gonna start practicing breathing for singing. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something from it, and that you're excited about learning more, and that you keep watching. Thank you, and have a wonderful and blessed day.